What does it mean when we say God's got this? Does it mean that God is in complete control and that he is behind the scenes like a puppeteer manipulating all the circumstances? Or do we mean that God's going to win? And even though things aren't turning out the way that he wanted, his plans will not be thwarted. You see, there's a big difference between that. Just the other day, my wife was talking to a really good friend, and he was encouraging her, saying, this coronavirus thing, God is trying to teach us a lesson here. And basically, in the conversation, he was saying that God, if he wanted to, he could stop this virus, boom, right now. And because he's not, there must be something that he's trying to do. And the implication is that this virus is from God. And that's crazy, because you cannot sow weeds and get wheat. You reap what you sow. God never does evil so that good will result. That would be like David looking at Goliath and saying, God, well, you put Goliath here in front of me. And we know that Goliath was an evil man who chose to invade Israel, who wanted to kill people. That would be like us looking at Esther and saying, well, God, you placed that plan in Haman's heart to kill all the Jews just so that Esther could step up. No, that plan didn't come from God. That plan came from Satan. Satan knew that Jesus was going to come through the line of the Jews. And he knew that if he could eliminate all of them, then Jesus would never come. You see, there's two invisible forces in the universe. As Christians, we all know and love and talk about God, but sometimes we forget that there is an evil source, Satan and his demons, and they're not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They are actively trying to destroy you, trying to destroy your faith. And when something terrible happens, like a giant invades the land, or an evil prime minister issues a decree to kill out an entire nation, or a virus comes out and starts making people really sick, immature Christians immediately say, well, this must be from God, and I don't know what he's doing here, but we just need to trust in him. But mature Christians who realize that there is evil out there don't blame God for the sickness, for the deaths, for the holocausts, but they look to God and ask for help to get through the struggle. God didn't send Goliath, but God helped David knock him down. God didn't send Haman, but God gave Esther the wisdom to outmaneuver him. And God did not send this virus, but God will help us get through this. You see, when we say God's got this, we're saying God wins. We know the end story. But God wins over darkness. And darkness is trying to destroy us. So today, when you get discouraged or when you get stressed, and when you look up and say, God's got this, don't fall for the trap that says, God put this negative thing in my life just because he's got some crazy plan. Sometimes God does discipline us. But discipline is growth mindset. Punishment. And this virus, this isn't about growth. This is about evil. This is about someone made a bad choice in China, and that choice is affecting a lot of people. And yes, God is bigger than this, and he will bring good out of this, but he never wanted this to happen. He never wanted sin to enter our world and to create all the misery that you and I have seen and witnessed. He wanted Adam and Eve to obey. And he told them, if you disobey, it will bring death. Now that warning wasn't a threat. It was reality. And when Adam and Eve disobeyed, they brought in a lot of pain and misery and death. And God said, there's one way to fix this. I will step in and take all that pain and misery and death. And when we look at the cross, we look at the physical pain and torture, but that's not what killed Jesus so fast. Those thieves on the cross, they were having the same physical pain, and they lived a whole lot longer than Jesus. What killed him was that he said, I will take your misery. I will take your sins. I will take all of that pain that the entire world has onto myself. And I'll take that darkness away and give you the light. So remember, with this awful thing that's happening in the world right now, this is not from God, but God is bigger than this. This is not God's will, but he will overcome. And our job as Christians is not to figure it all out, but it's just to grab onto Jesus, to hold on to him and say, God's got this. This didn't come from God, but God is bigger than this, and he's got this. You can take that to the bank. God bless and have a great day.